Hello, interwebs. So initially this was going to be a much more fun video, and I've honestly been trying to film this video a few times already, and none have felt right. I don't even know if this is going to be the one that ends up feeling right. I don't think there's one that's ever going to feel right. But I just felt like I have to make something, say something. Just recently, I learned of the murder of Eden Knight. Eden Knight was a trans woman who died by suicide after she was forcibly detransitioned. And this forcible detransition was caused, or at least in large part helped, by right-wing groups with ties to the Heritage Foundation and firms that worked with Eden Knight's parents to remove her from where she was and bring her to Saudi Arabia to forcibly detransition her. And that is where she ended up dying by suicide. But make no mistake, this was a murder. And there's more details, there's more names to call out. I will direct you to a video by Jack Saint, who made a really great and short video that goes over all the details. But I'm not here to talk about the specific details. I'm just here to feel the feeling of yet another trans person dying, being killed. There have been too many. Brianna Guy, Eden. I already am thinking of just a few months ago when I did the Trans Day of Remembrance ceremony, where I had 1 month of names of trans people to say who had died in the past year at that point. And it seemed like an endless list of names, and it was just a month. I have been trying really hard lately to focus on hope, because it has been what I have been needing to feel and earnestly been feeling. The world is falling further into fascism. We've seen people like Michael Knowles call for the elimination of transgenderism, which is a call for trans genocide. Make no mistake about that. And anyone who's paying even the least bit attention cannot mistake that. And anyone who denies that as being willfully ignorant or is complicit. And if there's a distinction, maybe it's unclear, to be honest. Anywho, I don't know. I'm just here to say I've been focusing on hope, even though I know that the world is dark right now, because for me, it's important to remember that we always have hope. There's always something to fight for. I've said it a few times lately that fascists just want the fight, and we fight for something more. We always fight for each other, for hope. And the other thing I believe, too, is that fascism will always lose. It's a self-defeating philosophy. It just inherently brings itself down further and further and further and further and further. It has the projection of power. It's all about the projection of power, but fascism is always one that just eats its own tail. And it ultimately loses. And we will win. I know there are people who feel like it's hopeless, and yeah, the immediate future does look scary, but just know that we will win. Hope always wins, kindness always wins, humanity and caring and empathy always does win. But the scary part is, the hard part is, the real question is, how many people are going to die before we push it back? How many people are going to suffer? How many people are we going to lose? How long will we suffer? That's the only question, and that's the scary part, because we are already losing people. People are already dying. People are already being murdered. And I say murder because this society that tells trans people that they aren't good enough tries to forcibly detransition them, either directly or indirectly, whether it be through legislation or through family or friends, quote-unquote family even, forcing them to do it. That is murder. And sometimes it's physical violence, like stabbing someone. but it's not always that, and it's still murder. And so I focus on the hope because I want you all to know that it's there, but I also need to feel the fucking pain. And it's hard because I can't always feel it all the time, because it would overwhelm me and I wouldn't be able to do anything. And I need to focus on things that bring me joy, hopefully bring others joy. But you do need to feel the fucking pain sometimes. I'm not going to relitigate the entire thing, and I don't wish to make it about myself, but I'm going to use this experience as an example. I won't go into the specifics, but there are people that have called me and said, like, oh, I didn't care for a specific trans woman's death, or distracted from it. And again, I won't relitigate the specifics because I don't want to get into it. But what a ghoulish thing to say. As if most trans people, if not all trans people, don't understand and feel the pain of one of our siblings dying every time. In fact, you just sometimes can't feel it all the time because you'll just never do anything. I don't know. I wish I could have a better, more direct thing to say. And I guess if I sat down and wrote something, I bet I could. I wouldn't be this weird emotional ramble. But I also don't want to sit down and write a thing about this. I just want to feel it. And I also feel like sharing it is important because I want people to know that you're not alone in feeling pain at moments like this, and also not knowing how to articulate it clearly, because I often don't, at least not immediately after. I don't know. This is definitely not the video I wanted it to be, but I really don't know what this video I want it to be. So it's just going to be this ramble. We won't forget you, Eden Knight. You are beautiful and amazing. And the world... No, not the world. People actively failed you and targeted you because of who you are, and that is ghoulish and horrible. And the trans community, the world, humanity is lessened by your loss. And that's really all I feel like I can say to end this. I send love to everyone who's watching this.